Bolt fam, today felt like a jolt straight to the chest, a gutsy win, exposed scars, and a locker room message that changes the temperature for the rest of the season. Behind the scenes, there's heavy tweaking, real talk about trades, and a blinking red light at the blind side. One unexpected wrinkle in the run game flipped the mood on the sideline, and that wasn't even the wildest part. We've got tactical reads, fan reactions, and playoff math that suddenly got very real. Are we ready to embrace a more physical plan while the league clock keeps ticking? You won't believe what we've got. Drop a like and let's dive in together. Justin Herbert once again showed why he's the pulse of this franchise. That 27-20 result over the Titans was not art gallery pretty, but the message was loud. When the structure bends, number 10 carries the load. Literally, he led the team in rushing, punched in a score on the ground, and reminded everyone that Harbaugh ball isn't a slogan, it's a mindset. What popped on film wasn't only the off-platform seeds, it was the physical tone, lowering the shoulder, fighting through contact, refusing to surrender a down. That's not just talent, that's a standard. And for a roster searching for week-to-week consistency, watching your quarterback slash through a defense on grit reignites the building. Teammates talk about how his energy is contagious, how every scramble screams the identity Jim Harbaugh wants. Aggression, resilience, conviction. You can feel it from the sideline to the last row at Sophie. There's a flip side, of course. The hits add up. You never want your franchise quarterback absorbing full-speed shots in November, only to feel them in December. The plan isn't to put a leash on Herbert, it's to fortify the wall so he can keep being the difference without living in harm's way. Sunday was a preview of what this offense can be when willpower fuels the design. If the traditional ground game takes time to stabilize, especially with a backfield that's been in flux, Herbert's legs become the shock absorber that keeps chains moving. That dependency has a cost, and the next stretch will bring it into focus. The counter is schematic. More 12 personnel to stress edges, condensed splits to spark crack toss, a heavier diet of sprint outs and quick keepers to change the launch point, and an emphasis on tempo to keep defensive fronts from teeing off. Mix in screens to punish over-aggression, and you get a version of the offense that buys the quarterback cleaner pictures without asking him to play hero ball every snap. The win tasted bittersweet, and not just because of a one-score finish. The image of Joe Alt leaving the field hit every fan who understands how much this offensive line has endured. The rookie left tackle, a cornerstone for the franchise's future, suffered an ankle injury that triggered maximum alert in the building. Everyone knows the math: no protection, no rhythm, even Herbert's magic wears thin. With the trade deadline looming, a name began to echo in the hallways: Evan Neal, the Giants' former first-rounder. The fit isn't perfect, and no one's pretending it is, but the calculus is simple. With Alt, Makey Becton, and Trey Pipkins managing issues, and Rashawn Slater out for the season, the team needs bodies now. Neal brings size, starting experience, and, right this second, availability. That alone matters when your depth chart is burning. The sense around the league is that the cost wouldn't be prohibitive. You can roll your eyes at the idea of a reclamation project in season, but sometimes the mid-year save is less about finding an all-pro and more about raising the floor to survivable. The second piece of the puzzle is interior stability. A center who can sort the mugged A-gaps, a guard who can anchor against long-arm bull rushers, and a five-man unit that can pass off stunts without the uh-oh step. The upgrade doesn't have to be flashy, it has to be dependable. The mood tightened after the final whistle, because behind the scoreboard, the real punch landed with Alt's diagnosis. Reports point to another high ankle sprain, potentially severe enough to consider a procedure. That's a gut punch, not just because of his talent, but because of the domino effect on the entire protection plan. When Alt exited, the offense didn't just wobble, it sagged. It mirrored the previous injuries script, and the implications stretched beyond a single Sunday. Without him, the Chargers turned to Austin Deculus, who has struggled in relief. The result? Heat from both edges, interior squeeze on quick game, and Herbert forced into survival mode. The injury list along the line reads like a cautionary tale. Trey Pipkins managing soft tissue issues, Bobby Hart thrown into the fire, Slater shelved. Even Harbaugh, usually stoic, acknowledged the obvious. The club is calling around. Inside the building, there's a shared memory no one wants to relive, waiting too long to react and paying for it later. The splits with and without Alt tell a story you can feel. Efficiency craters when he's not on the field. The medical scans will define the timeline, but the logical next step may be an IR stint that jolts your rotation at the worst possible moment. Can you hold serve for a month without restructuring the too deep? That's the question on every whiteboard. Expect heavier protection rules, back scanning inside out, tight ends chipping before releasing, and more half-slide protections to help the emergency tackle. Expect a nudge toward quick game layers, stick, slant, flat spacing on early downs to keep Herbert ahead of the sticks. Expect shot plays off max protect when defenses start squatting. And expect the staff to pick its spots with tempo, especially after first downs, to steal neutral situations and keep substitutions honest. All of this ties into the run game and how it complements protection. The Chargers staff has quietly leaned into what's working. Downhill gap concepts when the surface is favorable, wide zone when they can marry it to play action, and quarterback movement to punish man coverage that turns its back. Kimani Vidal has emerged as a spark, pressing the hole with patience and finishing runs through contact. That matters on the sideline. When a rookie tailback keeps stacking efficient snaps, it steadies the headset. If Omarion Hampton returns after the bye and the rotation stabilizes, you can start to see the outline of a balanced unit, one that doesn't ask Herbert to be the leading rusher to have a chance. The front office, meanwhile, is running hot. With the deadline rushing in, Harbaugh and GM Joe Ortiz face an intertwined decision: reinforce the run game or fix the line once and for all. Prominent voices around the league have linked the Chargers to offensive line shopping. Translation: priority one is giving Herbert a stable platform. The earlier backfield chatter cooled because the tape made the case. Vidal's emergence, the coaching staff's trust in the room, and the belief that incremental OL improvement multiplies every other piece of the offense. You can add a mid-round back and gain a few percentage points, or you can stabilize protection and unlock the whole playbook. Market reality matters. Plug and play in late October is rare, but it's not impossible to find competence that stands up to speed rushers and doesn't bust against TE tackle twists. The search list includes swing tackles who've logged right and left reps, interior vets who can make the calls on day one, and practice squad elevations who offer fresh legs and hunger. The price is likely a late pick and a restructure or two to fit the cap. Ortiz has already shown he'll borrow from tomorrow if the payoff is survival today. The line between aggressive and reckless is thin. The job is to land on the right side of it. Complementary football is the other lever. The defense can help by shortening fields and flipping possession count. Special teams can help by pinning opponents and buying an extra first downs worth of field position per drive. An offense that starts at its own 33 instead of its own 25 lives a different life on second down. That's where the hidden yards become season-defining. All three phases don't have to be spectacular. They have to be synchronized. That's Harbaugh ball at its core. Tilt the math with physicality and discipline, then let your stars close. Back to Herbert, because everything eventually does. The way he operated on the move against Tennessee wasn't just adrenaline. It was calculated, decisive on keepers, smart with slides, using pump fakes to freeze second-level defenders. The throw game benefits when he threatens edges. Corners stop jumping slants as aggressively when they fear the sprint-out comeback. Linebackers hesitate on simulated pressures when a quarterback can step through and make them pay. Those little moments, a half step of hesitation here, a cleaner window there, become points when you protect the ball and finish in the red zone. Red zone, by the way, is where identity shows up. The Chargers want to be the team that compresses the field and still dictates terms. Heavy set, motion to force communication, quick snap before the defense sets its front, then punch it in behind double teams with a quarterback who sells the fake and threatens the edge. When the line is shorthanded, that's harder, but not impossible. You manufacture edges with formations, you overload rules with motion, and you steal a gap with an insert block from a tight end who's willing to get grimy. Style points are for September. Winter football is about who keeps their feet moving on contact. Fan energy matters too. The Bolt fam travels, it shows up loud at SoFi, and it responds when the product is honest, when the staff owns the problems and outlines the plan. This week, the plan is simple to say and hard to execute. Stabilize protection, lean on a rising rookie back, and let your franchise quarterback set the emotional temperature without asking him to be the entire thermostat. You add a piece in the trenches if the price is right, you coach the 5 you have like they're the 5 you're taking into January, and you keep the margins tight. Penalties down, substitutions clean, situational football pristine. Look ahead, and the path is still there. The AFC picture is crowded but forgiving for teams that string together 4 clean weeks. Pull off one smart addition, get just a little healthier, and you give yourself a chance to stack wins. The coaching staff will coach like it's single elimination every Sunday. That's the only way this version of the Chargers works. Urgency without panic, aggression with guardrails, physicality that doesn't cross into recklessness. The talent is real, the margin is thin, the opportunity is now. If you breathe powder blue, you know today was a hard, necessary step. Herbert showed captain's grit and kept the flame lit, but Joe Alt's situation exposed an urgent need for help. The front office is signaling movement along the offensive line, while Kimani Vidal forces his way into the plan, and the Harbaugh ball identity demands physicality, courage, and discipline. The league's clock is ticking, and every decision now weighs on January. What would you do? Push chips in for a tackle now, or trust internal recovery and protect future capital? Drop your take, hit like, share with a fellow fan, and subscribe. This debate is ours.